Joshua Diaz. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the lab. I'm your host, Joshua Diaz. What a day it has been. Things are starting to pour in. Trying my best to stay on top of everything. Usually these things are spaced out a little bit more. But we'll deal with them. And we'll sift through all the information and we will discuss what this means going forward. Two major cases today with more developments in both of these cases. And where do we go from here? What do we do now? What does this mean? What does everything mean that we've learned today? I will give you my take on it, as well as we will listen to some of the sound bites and the articles of all the happenings tonight. And I just wanted to say, welcome to the new Moonlight View. Welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Make sure to hit that like button on the way in, subscribe, share, comment. I appreciate it more than you'll ever know. Josh, fix your hair. All right, I'll try. Looks good enough to me. It is March 1st, 2022. And thanks again, everybody, for the great feedback from the show last night. Thank you again to Chris McDonough for being here. And I just thank you, everybody, for all the support. And this is out of Bakersfield, California. A stunning development has occurred in the case of missing California City brothers Orrin and Orson West, with murder charges filed Tuesday against Trezell West, their adoptive father. Trezell West was not listed in custody as of 5 p.m., but he is charged with 2 counts of second-degree murder, 2 counts of willful cruelty to a child, and falsely reporting an emergency. And the Orrin and Orson were reportedly last seen December 21st, 2020, playing outside the house where they lived with the adoptive parents, Trezell and Jacqueline West. And there's really no way to break that kind of news. Welcome, Michelle. Thank you for being here. There's no way to break that kind of news, so let's just talk about it. What has long been suspected as the main suspect in the case, Trezell has now been hit with a slew of charges, just a litany. I mean, just 2 counts of murder, second-degree murder, child cruelty, and the charges speak for themselves, folks. I mean, the charges speak for themselves. Like I said, we have long thought that was going to be the outcome. A lot of us had felt that this was coming. We just didn't know when. And what this tells me is, and I have heard nothing of bodies at this point, but for them to file these charges the way that they did so fast and just slap them on there, they must have evidence, and a lot of it, because they are absolutely unequivocally going forward with these charges. And you would expect a not guilty plea when he's in court, which means it will probably be set up for a trial, and the evidence will be shown at some point. And I want to commend the Bakersfield Police Department on making this major step. They must have substantial evidence to do murder charges against Giselle, and we will be cautious and wondering what other charges are coming down on other people. We will see where Jacqueline ends up in all this, what she knew. She could be an accessory, although she hasn't been charged with anything yet. It would be hard to fathom that she doesn't know more. I couldn't imagine her not knowing more. And if she did and withheld that information, if that's what happened, well, may God have mercy on her soul as well, because they will be coming for her as well. And obviously this signals that they believe that they have strong enough intelligence to say that Orrin and Orson are no longer with us. And if we could just take a minute of silence to acknowledge them, and yeah, let's do that. All right. So I'm sure more and more and more will start to come out, and just it's gut wrenching. But at the same time, as difficult as it is to hear the news of that, we move on to the next phase, and it is on to the next phase, and that is making sure that somebody is held accountable for these crimes. Absolutely. We must make sure that justice is served, and we have to keep moving forward. And we have other cases that need resolutions as well. And God bless the Bakersfield Police Department for this major, major step in the right direction. And I am so, it's an overwhelming feeling knowing that this has been going on since December 20th, 2020, maybe before. Wow. Absolutely unbelievable. Unbelievable. Now, moving on, we will come back, and trust me, this is not the end. There will be, I'm sure, round the clock coverage of this wherever you're looking for it, and we will keep you updated on this situation. And for the people just coming in, Trezell West's adoptive father, non-biological father, but custodial and adoptive father of Orrin and Orson West, charged with the murder of the murder of the two boys, along with child cruelty and reporting a false emergency to police officers. And now moving on to the next case that has had everybody on the edge of their seat as well. developments are happening. They're flying fast, but you know, we got to take this and understand what exactly is going on. And what you're seeing is a game of cat and mouse. And I'll tell you right now, from what I gather from this, Ronnie Lawson is not a happy man. He seems overly annoyed, and with good reason. But let's hear what Ronnie Lawson had to say today.
The family still cooperating? I know you said obviously no Don's there, but like the mother and all those other people, are they still cooperating?
No, they're not cooperating right now. They have attorneys.
No, they're not cooperating right now. They have attorneys. So she's kind of like, I believe she was a bit stunned by that answer, which is understandable.
Is there anything else on that front you wanted to say or speak about?
Not right now. They're just so much on social media and called into my office and TBI fine that it's not even relevant to the case, and the rumor mills, and it hinders it because sometimes we have to stop the wheels to check into something that's not even close to it. And I assure you that we have to give 100% effort. I mean, we, TBI, the FBI, my officers, we give 100% effort on this case. No stones left unturned, and we're not done yet.
So no stone left unturned. That was earlier in the day. And as searchers spent a second day with a narrowing search area, and obviously it's a place of interest, what happens is now that Ronnie Lawson has fired a shot across the bow, basically saying, look, and make no mistake about this, this is the most damning statement Ronnie Lawson has made about this case. No question. And it perked everybody's ears up, including Candace, including Grandis, and God knows what Don's doing. Probably, I don't know, writing a letter to his pen pal.
There is no investigation. This boy has.
There is not really news to me.
That's news to me.
Don't say any F's and stuff.
And so, with the biggest statement made by Ronnie Lawson saying, hey, guys, they're not cooperating, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Well, somebody's ears perked up. Whose ears was that? Well, I'll tell you.
Another story at 6, day 2, and a planned search for missing 6-year-old Summer Wells is now over.
The Tennessee Bureau of Investigation said teams scaled previously identified points of interest in Hawkins County. The agency says much of the area where Summer disappeared requires extra time to search thoroughly. They say it's extremely steep and dangerous. News Channel 11's Ansley Daniels spoke with Hawkins County Sheriff Ronnie Lawson, the lead investigator in the case.
Yeah, Ansley, the sheriff told you today that Summer's family now currently is not cooperating with law enforcement?
That's exactly right, Josh and Sarah. He also told me that the family has attorneys. Now, he did tell me that he didn't want to speak any further on the matter, but I did have the chance to speak with Summer Wells' mother and grandmother at the home where she disappeared earlier today. And her grandmother told me that she wanted to address the sheriff's comments about them not cooperating, as well as whether or not they have an attorney. And this was the first time that we have spoken with her on camera since her granddaughter went missing.
Mr. Lawson stated that Candace and the whole family is lawyered up. I can't speak for Donnie, and I know Candace hasn't.
All right, so listen right there. She can't speak for Donnie. Not that she ever did. She doesn't even like Donnie. Here is the divide and conquer tactic that is being used, and it's working.
Because she's told me she hasn't, and I have not.
Because she told me she hasn't. And who knows where the truth lies there. I would be inclined to believe Ronnie Lawson over Candace, because Candace is a complete liar. And we know that from years of stuff that she's lied about, going back all the way to the Stone Age almost. Now, don't think for a second that this could be some sort of tactic, but they fully have responded here. And I don't put any credence into anything that Grandis says one bit. Your credibility's shot. Where have you been? And the only time that you come out and make a statement is when the sheriff, the lead investigator on the case, has something to say about you. And here you are defending yourself and your daughter for the first time ever. You're a little late to the party, Johnny come lately. I mean, Mr. Blister, where you been? Summer's been missing for almost 9 months now. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the party. And now because you've been called out personally by the sheriff, now you come out? I mean, give me a break. Who cares what she says? Who cares what Candace says? Their credibility is zilch, zip, zero. Welcome to the party in not so great terms, because now you've been thrown in the blender. Where is Summer? You know more, and now you're in self-defense mode. Now you're in self-defense mode, and I'm telling you right now, no one should believe a thing that you say. No one should care what you say. No one. Why should we believe you? We shouldn't. You know why we shouldn't? Because you're all liars. Absolute liars. Let's keep going.
If law enforcement wants to talk to me,
And I'm sure that they will, ma'am. I'm sure that they will.
TBI wants to talk to me, they have my phone number.
Oh, I'm sure they do.
They know when I leave the state. They know when I'm here.
Yes, they know when you're sleeping. They know when you're awake. They know if you've been bad or good. And I'm guessing you guys have been bad, for goodness sakes.
Summer Wells' grandmother, Candace Hare, says she hasn't spoken with law enforcement since December 13th.
They have not contacted me since the YouTubers were down here in the driveway. And we asked them about trespassing.
Summer's grandma was with her granddaughter all day on June 15th, the day she disappeared. She walked me through what they did that day and said she and Summer were repotting cactus plants outside of her camper, and then
Summer come in and had a piece of peppermint, which is her favorite, and then she went in. She said, Mama, I want to go play with the boys. Candy walked her back to the house.
I mean, this is a carbon this is a carbon copy, and they even sound alike, which is scary. In fact, completely scary. And it's just they sound so much alike. Like, hey, let's get over this, or let's talk about this together. Let's talk about this together. And they sound an awful lot like Teresa. Thank you very much for that as well. Yeah, it's a script. But wait, there's more coming. Candace didn't want to go on the news, so she wrote something down for the reporter. Oh man.
She asked the boys to keep an eye on her, and that's the last time I seen her.
as the 9-month mark of when her granddaughter was reported missing approaches, she says the social media and online rumors have to stop.
If they want to help, that's great. But if they want to spread lies, that's a different story.
Okay, well, what lies are, well, first of all, I can't speak for anybody else, but on this show, we don't spread lies. We talk opinions and whatever facts that there are. There's not a lot of facts going on right now because, people like you have held back anything that you've known. you're basically saying that law enforcement doesn't talk to you, and now you're reading off a script with your daughter who is missing her daughter. And guess what you and Candace both have in common? You're both missing daughters, and you want us to take your word for it. You're both missing kids. I mean, that's a family trait that could have skipped a generation, but it didn't. Why should we believe you? People want to say, oh, you got to give the benefit of the doubt. Innocent until proven guilty. Yeah, for most people, I guess. Yeah, I agree with that. And I agree with that too. They're innocent still in the court of law. Public opinion's a different situation. I operate on the court of public opinion, and it doesn't look good. My opinion is not good. We, as people who are interested and actually care, well, let's just keep going forward here. We'll get through this. Well, wait till we get to Candace.
Because that's all they're doing now is spreading lies. They're reaching and trying to figure out what lie can we spread now. And I'm tired of it.
She's tired of it. She's tired. Well, yeah. Tired of what? Tired of, okay. I'll even go with you on it. You know, there have been some things that have been said that aren't fair, that aren't right. I understand that. I've seen it for myself. I don't agree with a lot of the tactics that's going on. I don't agree with people showing up at the bottom of the hill. I don't agree with any of that. But I also don't agree that Candace and you guys have been fully cooperating. The sheriff himself says you're not cooperating. The sheriff says that you are lawyered up. I have heard that they are lawyered up and that they have been for a little time. I'm not going to go into specifics, but that they are not helping the situation. Matter of fact, that they're hindering the situation. Let's go forward just a little bit more.
Now, Summer's mother, Candace Bly, did not want to go on camera. However, she did write this statement for us on my notepad. You see it right there on your screen as well. It says, I've never stopped talking to law enforcement. No, I have not lawyered up. I don't understand why this is being said. I can't speak for Dawn, and we are willing to do whatever to bring our daughter Summer home.
I can't speak for Dawn. Well, why is that? You've only had the last 8 months together to speak to each other. You can't speak for Dawn. He's only been gone 3 weeks. What do you mean you can't speak for Dawn? Oh, are you separating yourself from Dawn? You can't speak for Dawn? Why can't you speak for Dawn? Because you guys have had plenty of time to talk about things. And I'll tell you right now, if there was any doubt, and I'm telling you, what'll happen now is the sympathizers will say, law enforcement's lying. Candace is telling the truth. Grandis is telling the truth. And I'm here to tell you this, and I want you to listen. And I'm not trying to be demeaning about it. I'm not going to talk to people like they're children, although some deserve it, but I will refrain from it. But listen to me. You are not helping the situation by insulating Candace financially, emotionally. You're not helping the situation. You're delaying justice. They deserve to be hung out to dry and to figure it out for themselves. Instead, what's happening is a bunch of, I call them net bangers, internet bangers, or thugs, or whatever you want to call it, out there claiming that we're wrong and we should have sympathy for them. How am I going to have sympathy for somebody when the lead investigator of this case came out and said that they're not cooperating? He can't say it any more clearly, folks. He can't say it any more clearly. He won't say it any more clearly because there's not a way to say that any more clearly. Absolutely not a way. There's no way to say that any other way. When he said that they're not cooperating, that means they're not cooperating and that they have counsel. That they have counsel. And what happens is when people send Candace money, when they put her up in hotel rooms, when they give her money for liquor, and don't think for a second that money is going to help her house be rebuilt. I saw her last night on a show, drunk as a skunk, complaining that TBI, the FBI, local law enforcement doesn't talk to her ever. And that she somehow was being mistreated because mother of Michael Vaughn's mother is in on everything that the police do. She's upset. She's upset that she doesn't get to know what's going on. Well, the reason you don't get to know what's going on, Candace, is because you're a suspect. And somebody here said, let me, not trying to defend Candace, but no, she has not been drunk on YouTube every day. I didn't say she was drunk on YouTube every day. I don't know where you heard that. I don't care if she's been drunk on YouTube every day, but I saw her last night. And if you tell me that she's not drunk, well, I have a bridge for sale for you. Because she was very drunk. And it's unacceptable. Okay. You know, she's not in the know because law enforcement doesn't want her to be. Right? That's why. That's why. And it was poor me. How come I don't get to know what's going on with my children? Yeah, exactly, Vet Girl. No searching, but on YouTube. And then she says, well, when I drive down the freeway, I look for Summer. I don't know what else to do. I don't know where else to look. Well, it seems as though they're searching not too far from your home. And make no mistake about it. Once again, the reason that Ronnie Lawson said what he said today was he's burnt on these people. She's burnt, or he's burnt. He's done. He's upset about it. They're a problem. He doesn't know what to do. He's upset. Most small-time sheriff don't deal with high-profile cases like this. It's not a common thing for, a little podunk town such as Hawkins County. Well, the county itself is small. And he has said that this is the toughest, most important case of his career. He says that they've never stopped searching. And now he comes out with the most damning statement ever made against Don and Candace since he refuted almost everything that Don said to WJHL about the case. And by the way, he went piece by piece and shot down every single thing that they said. Bam, bam, bam. One right after the other, right after the other, right after the other. He said, not true, not true, not true. Well, okay. And now that Dawn is gone in the pokey, guess what? Grandis now is taking up for her. She won't talk on camera, but she'll go on YouTube channels and talk, but she won't talk to the news. She won't talk to the news, will she? Absolutely not. She won't talk about Dr. Phil. She won't talk about anything of any importance. Nothing. At all. And why is that? Well, because she knows. And there's only one reason why somebody wouldn't cooperate with law enforcement. What's that reason? When you're, what do you need a lawyer for when your kid's missing? Do you really think that they're going to pin this on them if they can't? Like, do they think that they're going to get pinned on them with no evidence? As if Don said, there's no evidence, brother. If there's no evidence, then also there's no investigation.
There is no investigation. This boy has.
There is not, really? News to me.
That's news to me too. There's no investigation. There's no evidence. There's no investigation. There's no nothing. There's no Summer. That's what there is nothing of. There's an investigation. I'm sure that there's evidence, but we're wondering where Summer is. And 9 months later, you're dragging this, almost 9 months now, 2 weeks away. Now you're dragging a police department, the FBI, and law enforcement, just pushing them around, refuting the things that they say about you. My goodness gracious, when will it ever stop? When does justice come? Well, I'm telling you, it's coming, and they're not stopping. And once again, I want to applaud law enforcement for their tireless dedication to this case.
Thanks for all the searchers. Now, she also did not want to address her new YouTube channel, Dr. Phil, or anything.
Let me finish that for you. Anything of importance. She doesn't want to talk about anything important. She just wants to thank the searchers. Thank you. You guys mean more to her than you'll ever know. It is something special.
Other than the comments by the sheriff made earlier today. However, she and her mother, Summer's grandmother, wanted me to reiterate how thankful they were for the searchers.
Oh, I'm sure they're just elated. I'm sure that they can't hold back their excitement and wow. They must think of those searchers as angels.
Who are still out looking for Summer, as well as law enforcement for still keeping this investigation open and fresh.
I mean, what a joke. What an absolute joke that is. That's your first statement, Grandis, since this all happened. What about whoever has my granddaughter, bring her home? Whoever has my granddaughter, whoever has my Summer, bring her home. None of you, not one, Dawn, Candace, Grandis, have ever pleaded. If you really thought that this young lady, Summer Wells, was abducted and taken out of your property, there's not a chance that none of you would be pleading from the top of the mountain, that stupid hill, with that dumb, weird driveway and house that God gave you to isolate you from the world so you wouldn't bother people, but somehow you figured out a way to do it. All the way up there on that hill, you found a way to annoy people, to bug people, and then to lose a precious child. That's that hill was made for you. Just stay there. But you couldn't do that. You couldn't keep your debauchery to the hill, and somehow the world now knows about your psychotic whatever behavior, Don wanting to smash beer bottles in the faces of strangers, basically. And it's just, what are we talking about? What are we talking about here? I mean, we are so far beyond ridiculous that I remember when this case was at ridiculous, that was much more acceptable. Now we are talking about asinine. We are talking about just craziness every day. Every day it's something new. It's something crazier. Every day. And here we go again today. And Ronnie Lawson has fired a shot directly at the three of these parents, grandparents. He's saying, you know what? I'm not helping you anymore. I'm not doing you any favors. You guys aren't cooperating. Don's in jail. And then Candace probably, I don't know why she wrote down on a notepad. Maybe she's practicing writing a book. I don't know how you can write a book if you've never read a book, but who knows? And as for people saying, well, how can they afford a lawyer? How can they afford a lawyer? Well, in these kind of cases, there's a lot of lawyers that will take this pro bono, high profile case. Maybe they'll get a back end deal or something if they think that they can get them off. There's plenty of lawyers that will take this case with no money up front. But who knows if that's the case? That's just speculation. But I do believe that there are many lawyers that will take that. And absolutely, what a day, and not for the better, I'm telling you, for Don and Candace and Grandis. And they don't know why the sheriff's doing this, but he's cranked the heat up on them to 100. And they were forced. And when I say forced, they were forced to respond. And they have, and not in a good way. The way that they responded is how they always respond. It's not true. It's not true. That's what they say. It's not true. It's not true. It's not true. Constantly. That is how they get back at these people. They just refute everything that they say. And I would much rather believe the sheriff. And good for him for putting them on notice today, because it only gets worse from here. Somebody's got to be talking, I would assume. Now we have 2 days of searches after 8.5 months. And now we again have the sheriff speaking up, and he doesn't talk very often. He doesn't talk very often, but he did today. The divide and conquer is on. They can feel the walls closing in. Finally, the walls are clear. That's exactly what I was about to say. If they do indeed have attorneys, I bet their heads are spinning at all the BS.
Don't say any F's and stuff.
I assume that the lawyers were for the boys. Well, that's possible. Absolutely. Absolutely. Welcome, FBI, to Tennessee. Let's see. Josh, why do you think there's so many of these cases? Mothers killing their babies, fathers killing their babies, all of these poor babies. COVID is an abuser's dream. I'm sure it has something to do with that, but the children have been going missing since time immemorial. If you have watched this show before, I did a show call about the Pied Piper, and in the 1200s, how even before that, the early 1200s, with the child crusades, with 30,000 kids being migrated and then basically wiped off the face of the earth. Um, I don't think that this is anything new, but I do think that it becomes more and more egregious, and that the internet has really ramped up child predators. But as for why mothers and fathers do these things to their children, I just don't know. It's just so hard to say, man. There's just other than me saying that there's just a lot of filth, then there's a lot of filthy people out there in the world, and there is. It's hard to say. I wish I had that answer, but I don't. Certainly, the lockdowns and things like that have made things more stressful on people, but you can't use that as and I'm not saying that you are or anybody is, but who doesn't get annoyed by their child? Who doesn't get annoyed by their brother or sister or parents? I mean, it's a common occurrence. You'd be a saint if you never did. I get annoyed with people all the time. It doesn't mean it's okay to kill them. And it is looking as though Wanda West has also been arrested. I see that in the chat and I see that flowing. And like I said earlier in the show, more arrests would be coming. More arrests would be coming. That none of that surprises me. None of that surprises me. Let me see here. Yeah. It certainly seems as though she was arrested. Yeah, I know that she was one that pleaded for the kids to come back. So maybe, pleading really doesn't matter that much. Maybe she's just a little better actor than Dawn and Candace are. But I am happy that the arrests are flying, and I hope for justice for those boys. Lake Superior Girl 17 says, I don't believe Dawn and Candace thought that this case would get national attention. I 100% agree. I don't think that in their wildest dreams they thought it was going to blow up to what it's blown up to. And then that a YouTube community or YouTube shows or channels would pick up on it the way that it's everywhere. It's all over. It's all over. And I'm glad that it is. I'm glad that it is. And faith for summer, faith in TBI, and faith in FBI, and faith in TBI. Teresa says, for strong cases, sometimes it just takes time. That's what we've been preaching since day one. And even in the Summer Wells case, And let's see. I don't believe the mother arrested. There hasn't been an arrest yet, only arrest warrant. He is not in custody. Right. But he's been charged. Correct. They said that he wasn't in custody. When I saw it, that he wasn't in custody at the moment, but he was charged. So Mystery Maven coming through solid on that as well. And so let's just clear that up right now. And wow, what a day. What an absolute day. It's you focus on these, like all of us have. We've all focused on all of these cases, and now with the boys, it's tragic, man. I am brokenhearted that these two boys are presumed dead now, and it's a very tragic situation. And while I am happy that there have been arrests, I would have been much happier. I'd have been much happier if those boys could have came home. And once again, let's point out this as well. After all the crazy conspiracy theories, after everything, the child trafficking, the this, the that, and that was also in the forefront of the West Boys case, the Crips, the Bloods, the this, the that. Well, guess what? Occam's razor, once again, seems to be proving right. It seems as though that his story was completely ridiculous. Let me see here. There's a PhD thesis here. Socioeconomic issues, addiction, essay, DA, previous missing child, social media. Absolutely. You could write a whole story on it. A piece of hair hanging down. Oh, here, I'll fix it. Sorry about that. It just falls. I don't know what to tell you. I wish I could control it. John Ark said, my parents had 9 kids. It wasn't perfect. We weren't rich, but we were loved. Absolutely. Absolutely. That is such a good point. You don't have to be rich to be loved. And Trezel's story of collecting firewood in the alley while these two little boys took off, and it wasn't even firewood, it was sticks. It's your typical Southern California dirt alley with shrubbery getting firewood. His story was bunk from beginning. It's always been bunk. And then that, along with the video of them not getting into the car and blah, blah, blah. What else did you think was going to happen here? Who else did you think was responsible for this? Who else did you think was responsible for this? The video showed it was a complete lie. They weren't even believable, either one of the families. No, none of them. Yeah, they were picking up sticks in the alley. Everybody knew they were lying. Well, yeah, everybody knew except a lot of people that reported on this case. Crips and Bloods and child trafficking and this and that. And it gets all spun up. And then when the arrests come down, it lands right in the center, right in the eye of the hurricane, with the main culprit that would always talk about those little kids being so rambunctious. Oh, they were so rambunctious. Well, no crap, dude. They're little kids. I'm sure you were rambunctious as a little kid, but nobody killed you. Nobody was charged with your murder. Can't wait to hear what Trezel's all about. I mean, when I heard him talk about the kids being rambunctious, I was just like, this guy, why does this guy have kids? Why not only his own kids, but now adoptive kids? I mean, who were you fooling with that street interview where people were screaming at you because they knew what you were all about? It was obvious from day one that it's just that you need the evidence. Kids like that don't just go missing. Not one, especially not two. And if you couldn't love them like they were your own, why have them? Well, probably money. And who knows how long they'd been missing and where you could collect the money that you were receiving for them. Yeah. It's an absolute blow knowing that these two boys are no longer with us, because like I said, they wouldn't charge these people with this unless they had substantial evidence in this case. And I'm so glad that justice is being sought, and hopefully it will stick. I couldn't imagine a double murder trial with child cruelty. I know it's second degree, but I wouldn't surprise me. California does have the death penalty. They don't necessarily really use it, but if there's a good candidate for the death penalty, it would be a child murderer, a double child murderer. Be a fantastic candidate. Could be the mayor of death row. If they can prove that he did it beyond a reasonable doubt. I'm waiting to hear what's going to happen with Jacqueline. Because I'm telling you, she knows more. Absolutely, she knows more. How can she not? She lived in the same house with the guy. She lives in the same house with him, and she had no idea. I mean, is that what we're going to say? That she had no idea? Well, I can't believe that for a second. Not for a second. And if she knew more and didn't report it or in any way enabled this behavior, and I just don't know how she couldn't, she should be charged with the same exact stuff. No freaking way she's out of the loop. Completely ridiculous to say so. I didn't say so. I believe she's in the loop. I'm just waiting for that to be verified with an arrest. Maybe she did tell. Sure. That's absolutely a possibility. Somebody said that Jacqueline is culpable for sure. I would never suggest that she didn't know. It would be very hard to not. Almost impossible. Not impossible, but pretty impossible. But one thing that you also got to consider is that, so he's charged first. I'm guessing he's the main suspect, the main culprit or whatever you want to call him. He seems like a not a very nice guy, obviously. Could he have threatened her? I mean, it's possible. It's possible. Who knows what's going to, this is going to, like I said, that once this goes to trial, because I can't imagine a nobody case with him taking a deal of life without the possibility of parole to avoid the death penalty, which he doesn't really actually need to do because they don't actually use the death penalty because Scott Peterson just got off death row on a circumstantial evidence case, which I fully believe he was responsible for. But it was a circumstantial evidence case. Matter of fact, I saw the Mystery Maven is covering that case, and Mystery Maven, I checked that out a little bit, and you do fantastic work. You're very sharp, and it's one of those cases that I've always kind of paid attention to. So if you want to throw up the Mystery Maven's page, you can go check out what she's got to say about the Scott Peterson case. But Scott Peterson was just, they were trying to get a new trial for him and blah, 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 blah. So he's not going to, I would be shocked if he pleads guilty. I would be shocked. And yes, as of 5:00 on the West Coast, it's now, let's see, what time is it? So as of 2.5 hours ago, he was not in custody, but has been charged with 2 counts of second-degree murder, 2 counts of child cruelty, and filing a false emergency report. Absolutely no question about it. And once again, I would like to offer my condolences to everybody that's affected by these 2 boys' death. Like I said, it's tragic. I don't know what evidence they found, but it must be pretty strong. It must be pretty strong. No, it doesn't seem as though, he hasn't surrendered as far as I know. It's still, yeah, exactly. It's still early here in Cali. So I'm sure there will be an update. I agree. Hopefully that they've been watching him. Somebody just said in the chat, hopefully he could be in Mexico by now. Yeah. Somebody says here. Everyone head over, subscribe to the Mystery Maven like I just did. Yes, very good. Very good, guys. She's good stuff. Good stuff. Watch him. Take a couple questions here. Josh, did you notice when Grandis spoke with the script, she spoke slow, pause a lot, and didn't make eye contact? Then when she was done with the script, she spoke. Yeah, I kind of did notice that a little bit. Yeah. Yeah. But look, she's too late. She's late to the party anyway. So it doesn't really matter. And anything that she has to say, nobody actually cares about, because you can't trust a word that lady says. You can't trust a word that Candace says. Did they find the 2 boys? As of now, I do not believe that they have. I don't know, but I know that the adoptive father has been charged with 2 counts of murder. So while I don't know what evidence they have to suggest they don't necessarily need bodies, it's going to help in the trial, but I don't know. I really couldn't tell you. I really don't know. This is as I was getting ready to come on to talk solely about Don and Candace and Grandis not cooperating because they haven't cooperated since day one. I don't care what anybody says. You'll never convince me that they were cooperating. If that's their definition of cooperation, I'm sure they didn't do so good on school projects. And that's a fact. Because that's not cooperation. Just like the Trezell and Jacqueline didn't cooperate either. They gave one dumb little roadside statement while people were screaming at him. He talked about how rambunctious the boys were, swayed back and forth, and that was about it. There's nothing to it. It wasn't an actual interview. And as far as I'm concerned, I think that they even failed to take a lie detector, from what I heard, which is never a good idea. Don and Candace took it. I don't know how well it went. I don't think it went well at all, especially if you have to take it twice, which is always funny. When I say funny, it's not like funny, but they're just all a bunch of liars. That's what it is. Bunch of liars, not telling the truth. Don't care about the well-being of their children. And hopefully today was a step closer to justice, and hopefully we can find out a little bit more in the coming days and weeks. And I'm sure that we absolutely will. I'm sure of it. Thanks for being here, everybody. I'm your host, Joshua Diaz, and this is The Lab. Thank you for liking, subscribing, sharing. You guys have a good night. We'll be back tomorrow with a little bit more coverage. We'll talk about it. I'm sure tomorrow will be a different day with more and more developments, especially in the Orrin and Orson Welles case.
There is no investigation. This boy has
Thank you guys for all the super chats, super stickers, subscriptions. Thank you a lot. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for the likes. Everybody. You guys are so great to us here. Enjoy the rest of your night, huh?
Don't say any F's and stuff. Don't say any F's and stuff. Don't say any F's and stuff.